How you guys doing? This is Mr. Hunt. Today on Thursday, we are doing creating a dot plot based on a set of data. Inside of the of Google Classroom tomorrow, I will give shout outs to those that got scores, got 75 or higher on their work, and I'll shout you out tomorrow in the Google Classroom. All right. Um, so today we're going to look at creating a dot plot based on a set of data. So we've talked about a lot of things. Earlier we talked about statistical questions. Remember, statistical question always takes into account that you're going to get more than one answer. If I ask all the students in a classroom, how old are you? I'm going to get multiple answers. That qualifies as a statistical question because you get more than one answer. Non-statistical questions only have one answer. Okay, we looked at types of data. There can be categorical data. Types of cars, that's categorical data. Ages of students, that's numerical data. Those are numbers, okay? And then we can describe our data, okay? What are the attributes of your data? What are you actually looking at? Are you looking at ages? Are you looking at heights? What are you looking at? Okay, what units are you going to use if you're looking at ages? Are you going to look at years? Are you going to look at months old or seconds old or hours old? Or are you going to look at, if you're looking at height, what are you going to look at? How many centimeters tall they are? How many feet? How many inches? These are things, ways you describe data. So remember, describing data, what are the attributes? First of all, what are the units you're using to measure that data? What are the likely means that you use to measure it? What did you use to measure the height? Oh, I used a ruler. All right. And so these are different things that you describe data. So today we're actually going to create a dot plot of that data. So the first thing you need to know is that one way to get a picture of the data is to make a line plot. Okay. A line plot is a visual display of the distribution of the data values, where each data is shown as a dot. So each data, each information, each bit of information is shown as a dot or another mark, such as an X. So if I had 10 kids that were 10 years old, then I would put 10 dots. If I had 3 kids that were 6 feet tall, I would put 3 dots for the six that were 6 feet. Okay. A line plot is also known as a dot plot. Okay. So let's look at this interesting plot here. It says that the title of this is the family size. So we're looking at the sizes of families. Now, the bottom bar, this horizontal line here, represents the number of children in a family. So there is one, this is a family with one child. How many families had one child? There were 3 families because there are 3 dots here. So if you wanted to, you could say that the number or the frequency is over here. How many times did this show up? Although there's no writing right here, I'm going to put frequency, okay? Frequency is the amount of times that you're seeing something. How many times it show up? So this is for number of children in a family. How many families had one child? One, two, three. 3 families had one child. So I saw 3 families that had one child, okay? Number of children in a family. Oh, two. Two kids in a family. How many families had 2 kids? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 families that had 2 children. Okay. This is for 3, number of children in a family, 3 children in a family. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 families that had 3 children. The frequency would be 12 for this one. This would be 12. Okay. The frequency. This one would be 8, okay, for this one right here. And this one, of course, would be 3. What's the frequency of families that had 4 kids? 2. 2 families had 4 kids. How many families had 5 kids? 1, 2, 3. 3 families had 5 kids. So the frequency of families that showed up with 5 kids were 3, okay? So that's just an interesting example of a dot plot. But now let's get into the characteristic of a dot plot and the rules. So here are the steps for making your own dot plot. First of all, every dot plot must have a title and labels. I need to know what this information represents. Okay. You saw that in a previous problem, the title was right here. Here is the title, family size. Okay. Here is a label This is the number of children on the x-axis right here, okay? This is the number of children, and they range from one child in a family all the way up to 5 kids in a family, okay? So I would say that the minimum value here, the lowest number of kids in the family is 1, okay? The max number of kids in a family is 5, okay? So my minimum value for number of kids in a family is 1. My maximum value is 5, okay? Okay, now here we go. So first of all, give me a title and labels on your dot plot. Second of all, make a horizontal number line using a straight edge. This is my horizontal number line right here. Here's a horizontal number line right there going all the way across. And notice I determined the minimum value would be 1, the maximum value would be 5, okay? Next, it says determine the minimum and maximum value for your number line, okay? Number 4, determine the appropriate intervals or skip counts to use between the minimum and maximum values on your number line. Okay, this is interesting. Let's go. I know that I have children that range from one family, there's one child and there's families with one child all the way up to families with 5 children. So my minimum and maximum is 5, 1 and 5. So my range is my skip count means that I'm going to skip by ones. I'm going to look at one family, one children in a family, 2 families with 2 kids, families with 3 kids, family with 4 kids, family with 5 kids. So I'm skip counting by ones. My intervals will be by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 5. Okay. Let's keep going. Next, place a dot or X above every number for each occurrence of that number in the data set. Oh, well, how many families did you see only had 2 kids? Oh, I saw 3. So I'm going to put 3 dots. How many families did you see had 1 kid? Oh, I saw this amount. Then put that many dots, okay? So you can use dots or X's. So let's look at some. Here is some critical criteria for success, okay? Accurately label a number line. If it's not labeled, it's wrong because we don't even know what this information represents. So accurately label the number line. The bottom of it should be that there should be a title, but also your number line, the bottom part, should be labeled. Look, number of children in a family. Here's the title, but here are my labels for this line right here, okay? The number line. Okay, now here we go. Accurate numbers. Okay, I went from 1 to 5. So why are you even looking at families up to 100 with 100 kids? We didn't do families with 100 kids. We only did families with 1 child up to families with 5 kids, okay? So equally spaced intervals. If you're going from 1 to 5, it will probably be good to go by ones. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't go by ones and go 1, 2, then go 4, and then go 5. You skip 3. So when you went 1, 2, and went to 4, you skip count by 2s. Okay, that's not, you got to go equally spaced intervals. They have to be equally in spaced intervals. And next criteria for success, last one, need and organize information. Okay, so here we go. Let's keep going. Okay, I'm going to use Jerry today. Jerry Persons, a 6th grader at KIPP Ascend School, usually goes to bed around 10 p.m. We all know that that's not true. Jerry goes to bed very late. All right, and gets up around 6 a.m. to get ready for school. That means he gets around 8 hours of sleep on a school night. He decided to investigate statistical questions. How many hours per night do 6th graders usually sleep when they have school the next day? This is wrong. It should say Jerry here. Okay, let's put a J for Jerry. Jerry took a survey of 12 6th graders. He's looking at 12 kids, okay, and collected the following data to answer the question. So he observed 12 students. One student, so let's look at this. How many students actually said they got 7 hours of sleep? Remember, Jerry looked, he did 10 to 6, which is approximately 8 hours of sleep. But there are how many 7s here? 1, 2, 3. So I see 3 students that got 7 hours of sleep. So I'm going to go down here. First of all, I'm looking at my data. I got a student that had 8 hours of sleep. I got 3 students that had 8 hours of sleep. I got 2 that had 9. I have 2 that got 10 hours of sleep. I got 1 that got 11. So it looks like my minimum value, or the lowest value, is 7. My maximum value is 11. Now, so how am I going to figure out my intervals? Well, I could go from 1 to 12. Wouldn't a range of numbers of 1 to 12 cover 7 through 11? So I could say that, you know what, I want my minimum number to start at 1 hour of sleep, and the maximum number will be 12. Now, I won't have any at the 12, but I can go from 1 to 12, and I can go by ones. 1, 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep. Or I can say, you know what, how about I start at 5 hours of sleep, and I go all the way up to maybe 12 hours of sleep. Since my minimum, actually, this is wrong. My minimum is not 7 here. My minimum should be 5. So this minimum right here should be 5. So I have a minimum of 5 and a max of 11. My maximum number was 11. So let's look at what I use here. I have how many 7s here? There was 3 kids that slept 7 hours. Let's do this. Now, because I'm using this little instrument, my dots may not be, remember, everything needs to be neat. So I have 3 kids that slept 7 hours. I have 1 up here that slept 5. So I'm going to go to 5 and put a dot here. Now notice this. The title of my dot plot is the dot plot of numbers of hours slept. My number line is the number of hours slept. So this represents the number of hours that students slept, but my number line is the number of hours slept. So how many students is right here on this side. This actually is the number of students over here, even though I don't write it. So I got 1 dot. That means that there's 1 student that slept 5 hours. Okay. Did I get any that slept 6? No, I have none. So I don't need to put any information here. Okay. Now, how many did I have that went 8? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 students that slept 8 hours. Put a dot there, put a dot here, and put a dot here. Since I'm using this tool, they're not all they're not all the same size, but bear with me. Okay, how many I have that slept 10? Oh, looks like I have 2 students that slept 10 hours. Okay. Okay, how many did you have that slept 9 hours, Jerry? Jerry had 2 students that slept 9 hours. I'm going to go to 9 hours and I'm going to put 2 dots. Each dot represents a student. Okay, so there were 2 students that slept 9 hours. And I have 1 that slept 12. So it looks like the minimum hours slept was 5. The highest number of hours a student slept was 11. Okay. And I looked at 12 students, so I should have 12 dots here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 students, so I should have 12 dot plots. Okay. Dots. I should have 12 dots. Okay. So this is good. Now, let's go to the next one. Remember, don't forget the criteria for success. The criteria for success: accurately label the number line, accurate numbers of the same size. That means, and then equally spaced intervals, okay? And neat and organized information. So let's go to the next problem. The next problem says this: Mr. Hunt measured the vertical height in inches of 12 KIPP students. So I'm going to look at 12 students. I'm going to ask them to jump in the air, just jump. It says a vertical jump height is how high a player can jump from a standstill. They're going to stand still and just jump straight up in the air. So now I believe our students will jump higher than I measured in inches here, but I'm just going to pretend that some of them jumped 7 inches, 3 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches here, 6, 10, 8, 10, 7, 7, 6, 9. So I looked at 12 students, and these are all the values when they jump. 1 jumped 7 inches, 1 jumped 3 inches, 1 jumped 6 inches, 1 jumped 7 inches. So first of all, what is my minimum value? What is the lowest value here? Looks like the minimum is 3. Put that there. Okay. Now I'm doing the min and max because I need to figure out what the range of my number line is going to be. Am I going to go from 1 to 12? Am I going to go from 1 to 100? Okay, what is my max? It looks like the maximum height someone jumped is 10 inches. So the max is 10. So I'm looking at numbers from 3 to 10. So what do I want to go? Do I want my number line to start at 3? Or do I want my number line to start at 1? I'm going to say that, you know what? Maybe I should start at 1 and go all the way up to 10. Now, I know I don't have any students that jumped 1 inch, but I'm just going to take that into account. So here we go. Do I have any students? The frequency means how many times did you see someone jump 1 inch, okay? So here we go. How many? Trying to stay focused. All right. So how many times do you see someone jump 1 inch? I saw none. So 0 here. Nobody jumped 1 inch. How many jumped 2 inches? 0 here. Nobody jumped 2 inches. How many jumped 3? 1. How many people jump 4? I have no 4s up here, so that's a 0 as well. How many jump 5? Once again, I had nobody that jumped 5 inches. 0. 0 students jump 5 inches. How many jump 6? 1, 2, 3. 3 students jump 6. Okay. How many jump 7? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 students that I counted that jumped 7 inches. How many times did you see a student jump 8, Mr. Hunt? Looks like there's only one time I see an 8 come up. How many students jumped 9? Once again, another 1 there. And how many jumped 10? I see 2 10s here. So I'm going to put 2. So this frequency is telling you how many times this number shows up. How many times did you see a kid jump 6 inches? I saw that 3 times. So this also relates to how many dots you're going to have for 6. Under 6, I'm going to have 3 dots. Under 5, no dots. Under 10, 2 dots. So remember, what's my title going to be? The title is going to be dot plot of vertical jump or vertical height of students or something like that, okay? Now, scroll down, keeping in mind the data that we have up here, okay? This data right here is now going to show up down here. Well, how many students jumped a vertical height of 1 inch? First of all, my title is right here, dot plot of vertical jump, or I could say dot plot of vertical height of students. How about that? Okay, now my intervals is going to be from 1. I'm going to go and skip count by 1s. My minimum will be 1. My maximum height jump will be 10 here. And even though I don't have some students that jump 2 inches or 1 inches, I'm still going to include that. So no dots at 1 inch because I had no students that jump 1 inch. I had no students that jump 2 inches. But at 3, I'm going to put 1 dot, okay? At 4, no dots. How many students jump 5? Nobody. How many students jump 6? 3. So 1, 2, and 3. How many times did you see someone jump 7 inches? 4 times. So I'm going to put 4 dots. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So over here is basically the frequency or how many times that number shows up. How many times did you see a student jump 6 inches? Oh, guess what? 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now, so this, even though there's no number line here, this would be measuring how many times this number shows up on the bottom. Here we go. Okay, so 7. How many times you saw a student jump 7 inches? 4 times. How many times you saw a student jump 8 inches? 1 time. How many times you saw a student jump 9 inches? 1 time again. So there's a dot there, a dot there. How many times you saw a student jump 10 inches? 2 dots. 2 times. I had 2 students that jumped 10 inches. So there we go. Now, I observed 12 students, so I should have 12 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It all adds up. I had 12 observations. I have 12 dots. I had 12 students I looked at. And the highest I saw a child jump was 10 inches. And how many kids did I see jump? 2. I got 2 dots there. The lowest someone jumped was 3. And how many kids jumped 3? 1. That is the minimum value. The minimum value is 3. The maximum value is 10, okay? 10 inches that they jump. So I'm looking at the vertical height. Okay, now, here we go. Let's do one more real fast. A biologist collected data to answer the question, how many eggs do robins lay? How many eggs are they laying? And the following is a frequency of table of data she collected. So how many eggs did they lay and how many times did you see them lay that amount of eggs? So let's look at this. Looking at this data, one robin laid 2 eggs. There were some robins that laid 2 eggs. How many times did you see a robin lay 2 eggs? Twice. 2 dots. How many times did you see a robin lay 4 eggs? 5. How many times did you see a robin lay 6 eggs? 3. How many times did you see a robin lay 8? 2 times. How many times did you see a robin lay 10 eggs? I saw that 1 time. That's the frequency that this number of eggs occurred. How many times did you see a robin lay 10 eggs? I saw one robin lay 10 eggs. I saw 2 robins lay 8 eggs. I saw 3 robins lay 6 eggs. Okay. So my minimum number is here. My maximum number is there. I'm looking at the number of eggs laid. Okay. And then I'm looking at how many times that number shows up. How many frequencies does that show up? So how many times did you see one robin lay 2 eggs? A robin lay 2 eggs. I saw twice. I saw it twice. I saw there was one robin that laid 10 eggs. One robin, 10 eggs. There was 8 times. There were how many times you see a robin lay 8 eggs? I saw that twice. How many times you see a robin lay 6 eggs? I saw that 3 times. How many times you see a robin lay 4 eggs? I saw that 5 times. So how many dots will I have here? 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 3 is 10, plus 2 is 12, plus 1 is 13. I'm going to have 13 dots, okay? I should have 13 dots here. My frequency adds up to 13. My minimum value is 2 eggs, and my maximum value is 10. So I'm going to go once again. I want to go from intervals. My maximum value is 2, so I'm going to go intervals of 1 to 10. I'm going to look at a minimum value of 10 and a maximum value of one minimum value of 1 and a maximum value of 10, and I'm going to go skip count by ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a skip count by ones. Okay, now here we go. Let's go right here, use this information down here. So my title, dot plot of number of eggs a robin lays. That's my title. Now, down here, I should have a label on my axis here, my intervals here, my axis, the number of eggs. How many robins lay 1 egg? How many robins lay 2 eggs? How many robins lay 3 eggs? All the way up to 10 eggs. Okay, now here we go. Looking at the information, let me scroll down real fast so I can see this. I saw 1 robin lay 10 eggs, so I'm going to put 1 dot there. I saw 2 robins lay 8 eggs, so I'm going to put 2 dots there. 2 dots, okay. Excuse the mess here. Let me see if I can clean this up some, okay? Clean this up a little bit. Okay, so I have 1 dot here, 2 there. Here we go. And we're going to keep going. I saw how many laid 6 eggs? 3 times. 3 robins laid 6 eggs. So I'm going to put 3 at 6. I'm going to put 3 dots at 6. 1, 2, 3. So that's 3 dots. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 dots. Okay, now let's keep going. How many robins did you see lay 4 eggs? I saw that 5 times. So at 4 eggs, I'm going to put 5 dots. 4 eggs, I'm going to put 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That's a lot easier. Just a little small dots instead of trying to draw a dot. Okay, now here we go. Well, how many times did you see a robin lay 2 eggs? I saw a robin lay 2 eggs 2 times. So at 2, I'm going to put 2 dots because here we go. 1, 2. Okay. Actually, let me go ahead and try to fix this up now since I actually like doing it this way. Let me fix this up for you guys. Make it a lot smoother. So at 10, I should have a dot. At 8, I should have 2 dots. Okay. And the last one, I believe, is 7. And no 6, I should have 3 dots. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. So remember, I counted 13 times, 13 dots, frequency. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's an error somewhere. Let's see what we have here. At 2, we have 2. At 4, we should have 5. There we go, right there. It should be one more here. It should be 5 there, okay? So I should have 13 times. I saw 13 I counted 13 robins, okay? So here we go again. How many times did you see a robin lay 2 eggs? I saw 2 times a robin lay 2 eggs. How many times did you see a robin lay 4 eggs? 5 times. How many times did you see a robin lay 6 eggs? 3 times. How many times did you see a robin lay 8 eggs? I counted that twice. There were 2 observations, and 2 times I observed that. And how many times did you see a robin lay 10 eggs? Just once. And that should count up to 13. And that's how many dots I should have here. And that's it here. So your assignment will be creating a dot plot. You will use IXL and you will use Khan's Academy. Your independent practice will be in IXL. Your exit ticket will be your independent practice will be in Khan's Academy. Your exit ticket will be in IXL. Complete all that's given to you, and I will give you some practice problems to do also in Khan's Academy as well. All right. Looking forward to Friday, guys. You guys have a wonderful day today. Be safe. Have fun. All right. God bless you.